What's going on, everybody? Welcome to your weekend astrology forecast for the weekend of September 28th and the 29th of 2024. Astrologer Brian Scarborough here, Fixed Air Moon, keeping the collective fixed on astrology. I appreciate you all so much. I hope everybody had a great week. And as we pull up into this weekend, we're going to, finish off the weekend with a dark moon in Virgo, getting ready for a solar eclipse. Boom. Solar eclipse, baby. South Node solar eclipse. So lots of slide changing, in the forecast coming into next week. And let's take a look at this weekend, see kind of the prep for some of this eclipse energy, what that's going to look like. Well, we're going to see the moon in Leo on Saturday, and it's been here for a few days now, feels like it's kind of been chilling in Leo. The North Node of Venus is at 25, Leo. North Node Venus. Just something I just looked at before I pulled this up. But I think it's interesting to note that it is in square to Uranus, and that the moon's going to square Uranus on this Saturday. And that does bring unpredictability. And it does bring, I think, new things into light in terms of what we value, especially on a very individuated, self, place, with the North Node of Venus being in Leo, the moon being in Leo. A North Node, of course, in Aries. There's a lot of things to start, and I think we're starting to see more and more the different changes in the ways that we want or we desire to relate with other people in our lives. And of course, we're going to see the sun conjunct the South Node at 6 degrees on this Saturday. So it's honestly, it's beautiful in many ways. And I think that it can have us really wanting to find different ways to get a good reflection of ourselves and others. And I think we're ultimately trying to really identify what is bringing more love into our life. How are we loving ourselves more in life? And maybe this weekend's a good opportunity to kind of show different facets, different opportunities of ways to value ourselves, and how that can be related with others, and how the values of others can be related with us. And I think as long as we're in a place currently where we are focusing on our creative self and what life we're trying to create, and as we're moving into a new slide, solar eclipses are very much a new slide that takes place, that we're moving into a place where we feel balanced within ourselves, with a North Node in Aries, and not balanced by needing some kind of a justice in the world, having some injustice, served, some kind of a ruling that's so important, it's going to make or break your identity about something in the world. This goes into a bunch of different facets of our Capricorn, our society. It's election time. It's getting closer and closer. It's a crazy world out there. There's a lot of moving parts to it. There's a lot of structural defects that are very, palpable and noticeable in our reality. So we're really having to, in some ways, not let that affect our creative spirit, our creative light. Whether this is family, a relationship, whether it's just people in your community, whether it is the political landscape of the world, we really don't want to feel so attached to a certain ruling or justification that it's going to make or break our day or our weekend or our life, because it's not. And I think it's a really good time to remember our uniqueness, our individual self, and to create from that place, and to really not hold back from that. And I think we can be feeling a lot of beauty in our personal lives if we choose to look more into the personal lives and into cycles in our lives, and into, seeing positive growth and positive, relationship building to the things in life that bring us love and happiness and joy and are more unique and centered around us pioneering, a positive way forward for ourselves. So I do think there's a lot of positives. The moon's going to trine Chiron. I do think Saturday can be very healing in many ways. And we want to still keep that maturity with Mars trine Saturn and, be making good decisions and desiring things that are spiritually and physically and emotionally positive for our development and our evolution. Because we don't want to be reliant on something else to be this providing factor for us right now. We have to be that providing factor for ourselves. And I think if we are in that place where we can kind of come back and really focus on our life and where we've come from and where we are and where we're going and be very present, especially Saturday, we're going to see really beautiful reflections. And likewise, we can see reflections that aren't so beautiful. And again, those are identification moments and giving you the power and the authority to make changes and to create out of that situation. So it's important to keep that stuff in mind this weekend, as we really are waning into an eclipse this weekend. It's powerful. It's a potent time. But for some people, this is going to be like, chill out and see the beauty. Stop trying to overanalyze or weigh out, what beauty is. Beauty is something that you feel and and you want to relate to. And the things that are overly intense or, not, feeling like they're taking power from you right now. I mean, those are good instances right now where, we can cut ties with certain things. Like we don't have to overinvest into things that are not bringing a level of quality and balance into our lives. And likewise, we could feel a deep desire to start doubling down on the things that do bring us a deeply inspiring feeling, a motivating feeling, a feeling of empowerment. Everything we have a relationship to right now that makes us feel empowered and wants us to go deeper into our own psychology of how to create more of an empowerment within ourselves and our lives, we're doing really, really positive things right now. So, the moon's also going to sextile Jupiter. So it's a highly, there's definitely a lot to be felt, but I think there's a lot of truth. And a lot of like little things can really become big things, right? So it's like the little things we do to create happiness and joy and individuality in our life, those can really spiral up right now. And we can start to gain a lot of confidence or find a lot of inspiration from these truths. And likewise, if the truths are not empowering us and they're not spiraling us up, but they're spiraling us the opposite, then we really do want to pay attention to these certain patterns. And that's where I think a lot of the healing and identification of things can come from right now. Instead of settling in a bad relationship to self or settling in a bad relationship to a job or a bad relationship to politics or a bad relationship to a lover or a partner, we definitely want to expand past feeling inadequate based on something else and really step into our adequacy. Because I think that this chart has a lot of, potency for adequacy and creative potential and spark. And it'll be interesting. I feel like we have, a couple things that we have relationships to that definitely need to dissolve as the sun's with K2, the south node, which is, the body of the dragon. It's no head. The head is Rahu, the north node. And the only thing that comes out of the back of that dragon is waste. So we're also having to be okay with certain aspects of reality that we've been relating to changing and going away. And the Venus in Scorpio can be very difficult for people who don't want to let go of things that they know are not great for them right now. But we have a great choice, and almost like with great power comes great responsibility. So we have to be responsible in our power and know that it's okay to let go, and we don't have to be scared of letting go, because it's opening up the magnet wider and further for really positive energy to reflect back at us. Okay? As we look at Sunday, we're going to see the moon come into Virgo, and we're going to start the dark moon phase Sunday afternoon. So balsamic moon coming into a solar eclipse. Like we definitely want to chill. Like it's definitely a Sunday to chill out a little, feel things, tap in. Definitely don't need to push it. The moon in Virgo can kind of want to push to get a lot of things done, put a lot on the docket, have a bunch of plans on the calendar, make a really productive Sunday, right? And that's fine if you feel like it's good for you. But if it's just adding stress and heaviness to your reality right now, what are we stressing out for? It reminds me of like trying to, it's kind of like you'll clean the whole house before a party, like right before the party comes, and then the party comes and it's just like a tornado went through the place. And we're like, well, at least I cleaned it for everybody's arrival. But like, it didn't really it didn't last. So like, there's like some of that energy is like, don't focus too much on getting everything perfect and right now, because there's changes to come and there's adaptation and it's good to stay on top of our game and it's good to be present, but we're in such a interchangeable time during eclipse seasons that like, don't be upset if, things get a little dusty right after you dust them. So it's just like kind of like you want to work too hard. You want to work smarter, not harder. I think, now we got Mercury South Node. So we definitely could get stuck a little bit mentally about like what is, what we should be doing. And Mercury's dispositing the moon. Like what is productive right now? What's constructive? What's cleansing? It's being real clean and pure. And I think it does put us in a contemplative state, which I do believe is a good thing, like to kind of slow down a little bit physically and to really contemplate mentally on certain things that are in alignment, in balance, and what needs to have, some counterweights put on the other end or some action taking, going one way or the other. Mars really tight in that sextile. That trine over to Saturn. And Venus is going to start, applying into that grand trine too. So, and then the moon's going to sextile Venus in the evening. I think that, these are things that can feel really good. I think we want to be introspective a little bit on Sunday, go deep into certain things that we want, that we're trying to create and manifest, relate to, and, be productive when we feel called for it without expecting maybe too much, but just knowing that we're doing the right thing and that's going to, pay dividends in the future. The right energy investments will pay off in the future, in this next slide change, in this next chapter. So there's kind of like an introspective work smarter, not harder, be able to be chill and calm and find peace, find peace in the depth of our own transformation and in the changing of certain slides. Sorry, my throat is so scratchy, I can barely talk. I need some water. All right. And yeah, we're just kind of like figuring out a lot about our own balance right now. And I think one of the positives this weekend is really seeing what's out of balance and being okay with it and not hypercritical, not beating ourselves up like, oh, it's out of balance. Everything's going to hell. It doesn't have to be like that. Everything can be really constructive criticism in a way for ourselves to understand what, deficiencies we might have that we can, change, or what things we're really strong at and we can build on the strengths. So there's definitely good introspection Sunday. We want to chill out and tap into that so that we can really see where things are shifting and turning and what the vibration is as we come into, the high energy. This is high energy times. High energy for a dark moon, especially. And we don't want to, freak ourselves out, and like start investigating too deeply into things that aren't healthy, that aren't good for us. Like we really want to put our emotions and thought into the things that are good for us, because in many ways we need to keep balancing better into our life. I think we've all had to settle for a lot in different parts of our lives. And this is a good time to realize you don't have to settle. Like you can really identify what you need to do right now and be willing and able to adapt to those changes. And I think that this is an amazing weekend to do just that. And, I do think that when we put action into things that we feel called for, especially emotionally, spiritually, like we'll have enough energy to do those things for sure. And I think we'll get rewarded for the good things and like the more mature and, empowering decisions where we're putting ourselves in, the boss's seat, putting ourselves in that authority and giving ourselves permission to change and purify and let certain things go that might not be good relationships for us, that might not be healthy. They could be like little dark spots that we're holding on to. And it's okay to have dark spots. We're all equal parts dark. Well, we're all equal parts light. So it's kind of shifting and rebalancing in a way that's more focused on improving the light and also improving and building off the darkness and accepting and not being too judgmental or harsh on dark in general, that, polarity, whether it's our own darkness or someone else's darkness, because we can definitely be so critical and want to like pick at wounds a little bit today for ourselves and others. And I don't believe that's going to be super beneficial to us. I think we want to, be very constructive with any sort of criticism. If it's at somebody else, like, delivered in a way that's, sweet and caring and wants them to be better. And if they take it, they take it. If they don't, they don't. Because in reality, people don't change because other people want them to change. They change because they want to change. And if somebody doesn't want to change, it's not your job to psychoanalyze them and make them to find some sense of, I did it for you. We kind of got to focus on ourselves right now and do that for ourselves. Psychoanalyze ourselves to be like, ooh, why am I doing a certain thing that I know isn't a good relationship for me? And whatever that relationship is too, right? It doesn't have to be a partnership or a person. It can be many things. So, I hope you guys have a great weekend. Monday's the final day to book for the sale to get $100 off. And you can book out into October, so you just need to book by Monday if you want the deal. And I'm going to do things a little different today, too. I'm going to pull some of this Black Moon Astrology Oracle cards. Wow. Void off course moon. It's similar energy with a void off course moon as in a lot of ways like a dark moon, because both aspects kind of want us to like be in more of an intuitive flow and not force things. So I do think this weekend's interesting because one, we're seeing where we've void off course in our own life and how to rebalance certain things, but also that we don't have to do too much. And I think, something that's just been coming into me a lot lately, and maybe it holds relevance and it's coming up now for me, is like less is more, so we don't need to do too much, to try and make some crazy thing just, it's like the little things that we do are going to bring more. And I think if things are missing and we're just feeling a little off course, like look at the little things you can do to improve and feel better, find happiness and find purity. And we also got the sun. Oh, what a great card, Spirit. And I do think that that's another part of it, is like really finding ourselves, finding our light, finding our creative passions, and letting our heart and our spirit kind of guide the way to the changes and the chapter shifts and rebalancing. So we all want to kind of find the point for ourselves and then slowly improve and build and take every little thing with some bit of importance, and to realize that little things spiral into big things. So if it's little bad things, it spirals into bigger issues and, negative qualities. But if we're putting the focus into embettering and doing a little bit better right now with those little things, those spiral and compound into really amazing things that we can feel very alive and spirited in. I love you all. I hope you have a great weekend, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Much love. Peace.